Hey, guess what? We're live and in person. How you doing? Fred Moore here, your dude, your man, your productivity expert and bold guy once again. Today, we are live. We are live, and if you want, you can join me live. But do me a favor right now, for those of you who are on, I'm looking at my video over here, and let's see. Let's watch it here. Let's watch it. That's what we'll do. All right. For those of you who are tuning in, do me a favor, just leave a little comment, give me a thumbs up, give me, you know what? Here, this is what I want you to do. Type in fail, because that's what we're talking about today. Fail, how to never fail again. Type in fail so I know that, I'm not failing. All right, I see some comments coming in. Let's see, what does James have to say? James Songster! Hey, good to see you too, James. Yeah, good to see you too. My monitor's over here. My camera's here. I can't have both at the same time. James Songster. I've known him for like years. I knew him when he had glasses, and then when he didn't have glasses, now he's back to having glasses again. And you knew me when I had hair. That's how long it's been since I've known James. Yeah. All right. So you're there, James. Good. Yeah, let me know you can hear me. Type something else so you know you can hear me, right? Because obviously at this point, if you couldn't hear me, you'd be like, dude, I can't hear you, man. Can't hear you. All right, good. Today is all about failure. Failure. And here's something kind of cool. If you would like to join me in a little bit, once we get into the talk about how to never fail you can join me. Here's what I want you to go to livewithfred.com. Livewithfred.com. You can join me right here on screen. That's going to take you to StreamYard, where I'm broadcasting from. It's going to put you in the green room. After I'm talking about my points, I'll bring you in and we can talk about maybe one of your failures, if you would like to share, if you'd like to be that bold. And, just, I don't know, promote your product or something. I don't care. Yeah. But that's alivewithfred.com. You can check that out. Matter of fact, I might put that right there. So as you're going on later, you can see it. Before we get into the how to never fail again, I want to tell you a funny little story, cute little story about one of my early failures. And I've had many. Wait a minute. Since 1994, you said you did. All right, I'll get to it. This happened in my younger days when I was young and single, and I had hair. Yeah, go figure. I was at a club. I was at a disco. That's how long ago. It was a club. I think it was like a progressive club. Visage. That was the name of it. Visage. It was in Orlando on OBT, south of Orlando. If you're from Orlando, you may, if you've been around a while, you may remember this club. I don't even know what's there. Visage. I think that's French for face. I don't know. Yeah. But it was a cool club, good music and all that. And that's, I'd been in town maybe a year. I found the club and I thought, all right, I'm going to go hang out with some people. I'm going to go try to meet some women. Well, one woman I was trying to meet. I know. But so I'm there, and you may not know this about me unless you know me pretty personally, like James. I'm kind of a shy guy. I mean, I was a lot shyer when I was younger, but I'm going live talking to you people, and you think, how can I be shy? Well, I was very shy. So it took for me a lot of courage to get up, a lot of courage to go and ask a girl to dance, right? It's usually liquid courage was my thing. And so I saw this girl, she's standing there by herself. She wasn't with friends or anything like that, by herself. So I thought, well, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe. So I came up with a really clever line. I thought it was clever anyway. I went up to her and I said, hey, don't just stand there, dance with me. And she looked at me and went, no. Now, at this point, if I was a smart person, which I wasn't then, debatable now, I would have just walked over, okay. But in the back of my head, I was remembering that a friend of mine, a girl, had told me that whenever she's out at a club, if a guy asks her to dance, she always says no, because she doesn't want to seem desperate. And then she waits until he asks her again, like, no, no, come on, Dan. And then she'll be like, okay. She doesn't seem desperate. And I get that. So in the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, okay. She's like, no. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to ask her again. I go, come on. No, seriously. Dance with me. She stops and looks at me and goes, no. I was like, wow, 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 wow. I got down to that, like, and I meandered away. All right, we got James Songster is in the green room. I see you there, James. I'm acknowledging you right there. I'm going to bring you in just a couple of minutes. All right, sit tight. Get your camera set up. Get all that good stuff. You good to go? All right. I'll bring you on shortly. I'll give you notice before I bring you on because I don't want you to be like, you're picking your nose or something like that. We won't do it. All right. So today it's how to never fail again. Give you some backstory. I discovered how not to do something early on. I was working on a project. I was building an illusion. My background is in magic. It's building this illusion, and this illusion involves some gears, big wooden gears. If you know anything about gears, they have to mesh perfectly in order for them to work, right? Well, I was cutting them on a bandsaw out of wood because, too cheap to order them. I was making it like a prototype to see if this thing was going to work or not. Well, gears have to fit perfectly for them to work. And I kept trying. As that doesn't work. So then I'd get some more wood and I'd draw the template out very carefully and all that. And then I'd try that. I'd cut each groove out, each notch, each tooth out. And I'd try, and that doesn't quite work. And I kept trying. I kept failing all day long, truthfully, if you look at it that way. Failing all day long. But what I was doing was I was discovering a way not to make a gear, if you think about it. Yeah, I was discovering that this way doesn't work, so I tried something different, right? This way didn't work. I tried something different. Now, it didn't hit me that day, that particular day. It didn't. It did hit me on August 24th, 1994. That's when I realized, as long as I get a result, I'm not going to fail. I may not get the thing I want, but as long as I get a result and then act on it again, but change what I'm doing, then I'll be that much closer to succeeding. Right? So it's not failure, it's results. Scientists know this. They experiment over and over and over and over and over and over again until they achieve what they want to achieve. Sometimes they don't achieve what they want to achieve, and they keep trying, because you never know when you're this close to success, right? If you give up too soon, you'll never know, right? So as long as you're getting result, you're not failing. And if you're not failing, then what's to worry, right? You're getting result. Now, this is important. You get that result. My phone's ringing. Yeah. Speaking of failure, and it's about my car warranty. Wait, hang on. This is really important, my car warranty. I don't think so. I like that my phone says scam likely when the call comes in. Yeah. So when you get your result when you're trying to do something, it's important that you change the actions you're taking so you can get a different result. Because if you keep trying the same thing over and over again, doing the same thing, you're not going to get a different result. You're going to get the same result. And then you kind of will be failing. Yeah. So August 24th was the day I discovered that. Now, here's something kind of fun, because what this is you're still failing. You're still doing what you've been doing and, quote, not succeeding. But if you change your mindset, then these so-called failures, I'm using way too many air quotes, these so-called failures of yours are not going to keep you down. They're not going to depress you. They're not going to make you feel like, well, I should just give up. They're not going to steer you off the path that you're on. No, these, quote, failures, again, I should copyright the air quotes and I'd make a lot of money. These, quote, failures of yours are now results. And now you're learning. Okay, that way doesn't work. Let me try something else. That way doesn't work. Let me try something else. How long do you keep going until you just plain give up? That's up to you. But my advice would be never. don't give up, because if you never give up, one of two things will happen. You'll either get what you want or you'll die of old age trying to get what you want. I don't know about you. I'd rather be in my twilight years knowing that at least I tried instead of wondering, if only, right? If only. So yeah, get the results. Get the results. Results equal success. As long as you act on those results and change something here and there. Yeah, that's it. You change your mindset. Change your mindset, and those failures are no longer a part of your life. All right. I am going to bring James on here, add him to the stream, and there is my buddy James Songster. How you doing, James?
I'm good. How you doing, Fred? Nice to see you.
I'm good. You've got a lot more hair. Every time I see you on Facebook, it's more hair and more hair and more hair. We're like the yin and yang, I think.
I was going to say, one of the things about the pandemic is that for the very first time in my entire life since I started school, nobody cares what my hair looks like. So it's like, I've never been able to do this in my life. So, hey, let's go for it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, you're looking good. Looking good.
Oh, I thank you. And you look very nice yourself, sir.
Thanks. How's my hair?
There's just one. Yeah.
I'm getting hairs where I shouldn't get them, like here, and never mind. That's too much information.
So how are you finding your resilience through all of this? I mean, I love the ideas and the thoughts that you put out, but so much of the world and the environment that we're all struggling through now is been turned upside down, and it's like everything that we thought we could count on is out the window. And I'm describing it as a fluid environment. We live in liquid now.
Oh yeah.
And we're just having to reinvent every single day, and whatever we do today probably doesn't relate to whatever we're going to do tomorrow. And you've just kept charging forward. Where is that coming from?
Well, I think it comes to mindset for one thing, and probably because what's the alternative, right? I mean, our norm is been destroyed, right? I used to work a lot on cruise ships. Wah, 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 wah. That's not happening anymore. So I could sit at home and wait till this thing is over. And truthfully, I did that for a little while because, when this first happened, everyone was like, oh, it'll be a month or so and then we'll be back to normal.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't have a choice. I mean, if I wanted to make money, if I wanted to make a living, if I wanted to get my message out there, I had to do something. And live stream seemed to be the thing to do. I have kind of pivoted my business a little bit because now I'm focusing more on the training and the keynote speaking than I am on the entertainment side. So, but I'll be honest, there have been plenty of days where it's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not working. Maybe I'll just go out and get a quote real job. And I love that, when people say real job, like, what we do is not a real job. Because, we work harder than a lot of people at their real jobs. It was great. I was at a networking meeting and some guy, he'd worked for this company. He says like, yeah, I want to start my own consulting business because I'm tired of working 40 hours for somebody else. And we all laughed. He's like, yeah, you don't want to work 40 hours for somebody else. You want to work 80 hours for you. That's what it is.
Right. Yes.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have found the thing that's been pulling me through, talking about, what is your real job? And I had to do a little bit of self-examination, a little introspection. And I asked myself, what is my real job? And my real job is to be a creator. I'm a creator. And so it didn't matter what was going on, how it was affecting the environment or whatever. My job was to be a creator. So that's kind of what's been pulling me forward through this entire year, more or less. Is like, okay, I'm a creator. That's what I do. I just create content. That's my business. That's my purpose. And I put it out there. The people that it's intended for will find it. I mean, there's a little bit of work that goes with that too, but yeah, you have to put it out there in order for it to be found. I make the analogy of if you want to get hit, you have to play in traffic. You can't sit on sidelines and wait If my job is to be a creator, then create and put it out there, and it will land where it needs to land, or I can keep nudging it to where it to, which is what really fascinated me about the subject that you've chosen for your discussion today, which is, yes, we're going to fail, but failure isn't the roadblock. Failure is the stepping stone. Failure is I'm sure you know the term fail forward as well as anybody.
Yeah. And like you said, it's a roadblock for most people. When they fail, they stop. Right. I did a thing this morning locally, and I ended my thing with a little magic inspiration thing, and I'm talking about failure and how we all teach our kids, if at first you don't succeed, you try again.
Right.
But as adults, what do we do? If at first you don't succeed, quit, give up.
Yeah, do something else.
I went to the gym one day, I haven't lost any weight. Where's the buffet? Right. We grow out of that mindset. When you're a kid, anything is possible, right? And you try to teach your kids that try again. But somehow we lose that along the way. And I think a big part of it is, I hate to say this because this is the platform we're on right now, but Facebook. You look at people, your friends' posts on Facebook. Everybody's doing great, aren't they? They're successful, they're succeeding. Well, the reason is because nobody posts on Facebook, at least not a lot of people. Some people do. It's like, well, I really screwed up today. Boy, that didn't work out at all, did it? Boy, that cost me hundreds of dollars. What a huge mistake. No, all you hear about is the successes. It's like when you see a successful person, you look at the success they have. You don't look at the 20 years it took to get them there.
I love the reverse of that when you see somebody, particularly in our field, a variety arts performer, who goes on one of the big competition shows, maybe America's Got Talent or something like that. And the backstory that they always show is about how it's just been this long history of struggle and missed opportunity, and nothing ever came together. And this is like my last desperate hope. And you and I know some of these people personally. You're like, no, hold on a second. That's not really what's going on, is it? But it's always the story that we tell. Yeah, it's always the story that
sells.
That's the story that sells. And I think it is important to know that the story of what I tried that didn't work is as valid as the story of, and this is working. And we have a tendency to want to hear one story or the other. We very seldom hear the blend of, this has been working, but this hasn't been working. It's either nothing ever worked and this is my last hope, or this has been easy sailing and it's been a cakewalk my whole success. I've just gone from success to success. And the reality is neither of those is true. I don't know anybody that's true for.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's a good point.
Speaking of using magic, I wanted to say thank you. This is the first opportunity I've had to say thank you to you face to face, if you will, for some of the content you were putting out. I as you know, I got the silk to egg.
Yeah, and I saw that clip.
I sent you the clip. Thank you very much.
It was awesome.
It was a great piece. Or is it? I should not was is a great piece and still a work in progress. Yes, still is. Thank you.
Yeah. It's funny, the presentation I did this morning, I was going to do that, but I didn't have any white eggs. I had brown eggs, which just aren't the same, because it's like when it's not the same.
I don't know if I think you put too much thought into that one. I don't know if that would be a problem.
Yeah. It's not a problem, but as far as visibility, because I've used brown eggs before and I don't think it's as visible. Now, the people that are watching the replay, they have no idea what we're talking about.
What we're talking about. Exactly. I would agree. If you're holding an egg on stage on a cruise ship, yes, you want that white that reflects all the light really nicely. Yeah. But in this environment, if you're performing it in this environment, I think a brown hen's egg works just as well.
Yeah, probably does. We're going to pause that because we got somebody else in the green room. My buddy Don King. He is not just Don King. He's Don King with 2 N's.
Yep.
2 M's.
People ask me about the hair. I just do that on the weekends, Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. How you doing, Don? You landed
Doing
airplanes,
okay.
Don? I like
No,
that.
no.
That's good.
I decided I would put this on because I wasn't sure if I would get feedback from the regular speakers or not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Usually you do. And here's a little. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you
Yeah.
go. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I got mine behind my ears, and I'm tethered. Check this out. I am tethered right now.
Very good.
And this is a bad thing because every once in a while I'll be all set up to do a live stream and like, oh, let me get this, and I'll get up and be like, be like a dog on a leash. So
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh,
so what's up, Don?
I've been listening to the flow here. Appreciate getting on here. I had a thought about what you were saying about people are either all about the mess ups or all about the successes. I heard from Craig Ballantyne some years back when he said for professional speakers, we have a need, of course, for the audience to view us as experts, and we have a need for them to think we're worth the money that they paid. But on the other hand, if we put ourselves up on a pedestal, then it separates us, and we're really not making the impact. He suggests that when you think about the stories you tell, you think about the 4 F's: your firsts, fears, failures, and frustrations. And I have found that to be just really good advice. I got to give the shout out to Craig. He probably heard it from somebody else, but your first, fears, failures, frustrations, that leads to all kinds of stories that will say to the audience, I've been where you are, but it also establishes that you know what you're talking about because you've come through that. So you can be sort of like the Sherpa who's been up the mountain, and now I'll go with you.
I think that a lot of what has happened is that the internet, pop culture, the media has kind of glossed over this idea that you do something and it just explodes. It goes big and everything's successful. And maybe we need to remind ourselves and those that we work with or mentor that you don't get to skip day one. You don't get to skip try number 1. You don't get to skip week number 1. You don't get to skip year number 1. There is no shortcut from here to instant. You have to go through that. And to what Fred is saying is that means a lot of stuff isn't going to work on the first, second, 100th time. You have to be willing to accept failure as part of growth, and that's how we learn. We don't learn if we didn't have something to learn from.
Oh, really good point. It reminds me, I'm old enough to remember the 60s, and there was an underground book that was published. This was before the days of self-publishing, of course. The name of the book was Das Energie. It's a German word that means the energy. And I lost that book years ago, but I remember one little story out of it where they said, imagine you're walking through the forest and you fall into a pit. And you beat yourself up for a little bit. It goes on for a while. Beat yourself up because you fell in the pit. You yell for help. You despair. You sit down with your head in your hands, and eventually you get up and you tie your socks and pants and underwear together and make a rope, throw it up, and climb up. Typical Western culture would say all of that was wasted time except for making the rope. Whereas in the original story, they said the whole thing was part of the process of getting out of the pit. And so, and I missed your name. I'm sorry. I know Fred, but
I'm James.
James.
James, nice to meet you, James. What James was saying about it, all of those steps, you don't get to skip the steps. It's all part of the process. So, don't beat yourself up because you can't go to the end in one step. Nobody can.
Exactly. And, you made me think of something. Those mistakes, those failures, again with the air quotes, my fingers are cramping, along the way, sometimes those will get you results or ideas for other things you hadn't even anticipated. I mean, Post-it notes, right? Post-it notes, the friend and foe of David Noman, right there, Don? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Post-it notes. The guy that invented Post-it notes at 3M, the glue, he was trying to invent a glue that would never come off, that would never, ever come off. And he came up with a glue that comes off really easily, but doesn't leave a residue. And it was like, it was a failure if you look at his original intent. But hey, everybody's got them and we all love them. Yeah.
Yep.
So sometimes your failures can be good things. I mean, they're all good things as long as you get that result.
Yeah. You learn from it. It's just part of the process.
Exactly.
One of my mentors, although I never got to meet the man ever, I can only watch and read his work, Walt Disney. And one of my favorite quotes is that Walt always says, I think that everybody needs a really good hard kick in the teeth when you're young. That you need that failure when you're young to show you that you can overcome it. You've got the ability to move forward and learn from that lesson and carry it with you. So I've always viewed this wasn't a failure. This was just something that I had to work through. I had to learn from. I had to adapt to whatever it is. And even as Fred says with the glue and Post-it notes, even stuff that didn't even come close to turning out the way you wanted it to, is still something that you're probably going to find a way to apply somewhere else at another time. Being magicians, I think the greatest secret about being magicians is that there's one person at that moment who knows how this effect is supposed to end. And that's the magician. But everybody else who's watching, they don't know what the predetermined ending the magician is. So if you just keep going forward and you arrive at a destination and you get to your ta-da moment, whether that was what you had or not, the audience, worst case scenario, goes, oh, I don't know what that was, but okay, yeah. I'm not quite sure what you were going for there, but well done. It's all about forward motion. Yes, it didn't go the way I was expecting, but I'm the one that knows that. Nobody else knows that, and we still have forward motion.
Yeah. Anybody that's done any live performing knows that you have to deal with the unexpected constantly, which I think has trained us for those failures that pop up. So it's like, all right, well, what do I do?
Yeah, the primary skill is adaptability or adaptation. It's not about making it come out exactly the way you planned. And you're getting me on a soapbox for something else. One of my day jobs is teaching college. I've been at my college for 30 years. And what I've observed over the last few years is that we have students who are coming in who are legally adults, but their parents have never allowed them to fail. And I can tell you from experience, it's a lot better to experience those failures young than when you're older. So you learn to deal with the frustration of losing the baseball game at age 7. You're in much better position to deal with the realities of life at age 18 or 25 or 30. And I hate to say it, but a lot of these kids, they just cannot deal with failure.
I believe that the real value in an internship, if you're getting your first internship or experience into a company, is to give you the project, give you the scope of it, talk about what success is going to look like, and then allow you to fail. As somebody who's trained innumerable numbers of people and interns over my 30 years, I've many times would go through the process of, is the action that you're about to take going to get you where you want to be? Probably not. Do I think that you're in a real danger situation or mortal threat? No, not really. So you know what? I'm going to allow you to continue forward, to proceed to where you're going, because I know that the risk is low, but the learning is higher. So I've when I'm training somebody, in this one instance, it was literally, I was like, oh, you need to get us to such and such a destination. And by the way, I'm talking theme parks, big giant facility park. And I said, you need to get us to, you need to get us such and such a destination. Here? And so I allowed this intern to lead this entire group of people to completely the wrong side of the park. And not until she arrived at the place that she didn't want to be, she turned around, she looked at me, she goes, you let me bring everybody here. And I went, yes. And here's what I know. You will never do that again. That the best way to have learned this was the wrong path is to have actually walked the path. And that's locked in now. So yes, I let you fail. If you set somebody up with a task or a job or an internship and never allow them to fail, if they can't fail, it also means they can't succeed. There has to be risk involved to reach a success, because if there was no risk, then you didn't do anything. You just achieved at a predetermined destination.
Right. You showed up.
You showed up. Right. That's exactly the right way. You didn't succeed. You showed up. Risk means not only did I show up, I had to step up. I had to take that next level commitment and put something at risk in order to achieve the success. So yeah,
exactly.
completely.
One of my favorite movie quotes is, "Why do we fall? So we can get back up again."
Well,
and it's
what
from
do you?
Batman Begins, of all movies, right?
Right.
So what do you guys think about the idea of failing? Which word I'm looking for? Maybe incrementally. What occurred to me as you were talking about letting them fail, yes, but like if you're let's say you're a parachute instructor.
Well,
Okay, so there are failures prior to that, where people can learn before it is a fatal mistake.
correct.
So how do we foster that?
From a theme park mentality, okay? The first thing you have to do is you have to give somebody a judgment, a value system, a way to make choices. All right, because I always used to tell my kids every single day before they would head out of the house and go to school, I would say, make good choices. Go make good choices. I'm not going to tell you what the choices are, but I want to give you a way to make those choices. And if we were to take Mickey Mouse World as the way to model that behavior, every single cast member that goes through Walt Disney World has been given a priority list of how to make their choice. Choice number one is this action safe? Choice number two, is this action courteous? Is this action good show? And is this action efficiency? Now, if I'm trying to make a choice and it's a parachute jump, okay, well, if I'm making this choice like, oh, this is the fastest way to put my parachute on and jump out of the plane, am I making an efficiency choice and sacrificing safety in the process? And if I am, then I'm doing it wrong. I have to choose safety first. You cannot compromise that. After that, it's, am I being courteous? Is this the right way to do it? And it wasn't the most efficient method. And that order may change depending on your industry, your goals, things like that. Maybe for you, making it look good is more important than courtesy, or maybe whatever it is, or maybe efficiency has to come before the quality of the show, whatever it is. But at Disney World, they had chosen that because nobody came to Walt Disney World and said, oh, wow, I love how efficient this is. No, they come to Walt Disney World and they go, man, I like how safe it is. I like how the cast members treat me, and I like how good the show is. If you did all that, efficiency just kind of fell in line after it. But you couldn't put efficiency before being nice to somebody. You couldn't put efficiency before creating a good product or a good show. So you have to decide for yourself what that is. And using your analogy about the jumping out of the airplane and taking a skydive, well, is this parachute good looking or is it safe?
It'd be real efficient to get to the ground with a
right
without
right.
a parachute.
Yeah. So, and if I'm going through that, I have a much higher probability of, it might not have been the best choice, but I will survive this choice. And I know that at the end of the day, why I made the choice and how it plays out. And then afterwards I can go back and go, okay, so if I tweaked that, if I made a change to that, then I've got a better opportunity to make an improvement the next time we go. This wasn't perfect, but it fit the criteria at the moment. And now what have I learned in the process?
It's funny because the whole parachute analogy, I used to go skydiving, And I got certified on my first solo skydive. I had a malfunction. That was not from me, from the guy who packed the parachute, who was another student who evidently loved to fail. Now, it wasn't a big, major, hairy deal, but it wasn't a failure on my end because my instructor had taught me everything that I need to do if something happens.
Right.
If the parachute failed to open, if the lines were tangled, if the slider got stuck, if the canopy deflated,
in which order did you learn all of that? Yeah. In which order did you learn all of that? Before or after you jumped out of the plane?
Before I jumped out of the airplane. Now, can you imagine the guy that invented the parachute, the first guy to try it? It's like, I ain't gonna do it. You do it. It was some dude. I'll give it a shot. Why not? Come on, let's go. Give me another beer.
Hold my beer.
Yeah. But I know that. I don't know this for sure, but I would imagine that the guy who designed the parachute tested it beforehand, right? He probably had a little doll and a little parachute, threw it out his window just to see what would happen. So if you're going for something that you think that a big failure in this thing that you're trying, if it's going to cost you this big failure, then I would try it on a smaller scale, test it, see if it works, find other people that have done something similar, find out what worked for them and what didn't work for them, use their failure to your advantage. So yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing, Don. Thanks for bringing up the whole parachute thing.
Sure.
It's not the fall that kills you, it's that sudden stop at the end.
There you go. Yeah. I'm okay for the first 100 feet,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to do a charity fundraiser, which was rappelling off the top of the, what was at the time, the Peabody Hotel on International Drive. It was like the tallest structure on International Drive they could find. We all paid money for a charity so we could rappel off the top of this thing. And none of us had any experience. We didn't know how to rappel. And my wife and my mom and everybody was like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? I was like, well, because here's what I know for a fact, okay? Neither the charity or the Peabody Hotel are going to allow us to do something that is inherently life-threatening. So if they're willing to let us do this, odds are I'm probably going to survive this experience. Worst case scenario, I get tangled in the cord and I hang there until somebody comes and gets me. That's an acceptable level of risk. I can take that chance.
Oh my.
That is funny. Oh man. All right. I want to bring in, let's see. I'm going to try, this is the first time I've done this. I'm going to see if I can bring in some of these comments. Let's see. There it is. Amara is in. Okay, she can hear us. That's good. That was put in at like 4:02, so I should check these comments more often, right? Oh yeah. Okay. And then John's there. And failure never sells. Okay. I'm not sure.
If you work it right.
If you work it right.
That's part of that first fears, failures, frustrations.
Exactly.
You don't want to leave it at failure.
Yeah, that's true.
Failure never sells, but people love origin stories.
Yeah, big time.
I became what I am because I failed, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah. Every superhero movie, that's the first thing to do is that you got to tell the origin story.
There has to be an origin story. What did they fail at that propelled them to where they are now? Exactly.
Hank Miller. Oh, my gosh. Another blast from the past. Hank Miller. I've known him almost as long.
You're old.
As long as I've known. I love this comment. No one ever complained of a parachute that didn't work. That's true. And the last thing that went through the person's mind was their butt, right? That's a bad joke. That's a bad joke. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up here with you guys. We've been on like almost 40 minutes. Good job. Good job, guys. Nice discussion here. I'm glad to see both of you. Don is a new friend and James is an old friend. And now James and Don are best buds. So I know you're going to go out and have coffee without me. Fine. Go ahead. I don't care. Failure. No. All right. I'm going to take you guys out. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Wrap this up. Thanks, guys. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. You know what? I love talking about failure because failure is a passion for me. I'm all about getting things done and being efficient, right? I'm talking about getting results. So I want to give you some results. If you want to get some of your time back, I speak on productivity. I speak on time management. I want to gift you this. Go to 5hoursback.com. 5hoursback.com. Website, you're going to get a PDF with 9 simple things that you can do to get 5 hours in your week back. 5 hours back in your week. 5 hours that you can use to get more work done, or 5 hours you can use to go out and play in the yard with the kids, take a walk, relax, have some free time. What is that? Free time? Yes, free time. That's what I'm talking about. 5hoursback.com. Check it out. I'm glad to see you guys. Do me a favor, share this video with your friends. There's some good stuff here, some good nuggets from James and Don, some great ideas. Share it with your friends, because everyone's afraid to fail, and we shouldn't be. We should be afraid of not getting any results at all, because that means we're not trying, right? All right, go out there, get some stuff done. And hey, you know what? If you don't follow me on Facebook, if you're not friends, hit me up. Well, I'll be friends. You know, I'm not going to give her a ride to the airport, but I'll be friends with you on Facebook. That's cool. That way you can be notified the next time I do one of these live thingies. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.